Thanks for joining us today. I'm Cody Holyoke. We're here just days to go before the primaries with a lot to talk about, including major changes you could see at the polls in Missouri. It's possible and even likely you're in a different congressional district this time around. We've seen plenty of public pushback, especially last year when Missouri Republicans, at the behest of President Trump, redrew the state's congressional maps to try and win their party an extra seat in Congress. They carved up Kansas City, once in its own compact district, into three parts, essentially diluting the Democratic vote here, sending downtown, the plaza, wealthier parts of town into the fourth, and the north side into the sixth. The 5th district, historically Democratic leaning, now stretches all the way to rural Marist County. Look at this, and even up to Randolph County, north of Columbia. Voters here at home are concerned about representation and even competition among their own communities.
North Kansas City is pitted against South Kansas City, right? The east side gets pitted against the west side. I'm actually really worried about that.
Concerns me for my children, my grandchildren, and everybody else around me in my community.
Longtime Congressman Emanuel Cleaver still in the race despite an uphill battle. He says he's frustrated by the changes brought on by this mid-decade redistricting, but says he's ready to fight for re-election. And Tuesday, he's running unopposed. Republicans, seeing this opening created by gerrymandering, are clamoring, though, for a shot to take on Cleaver in November. 6 candidates are running in the 5th. You've no doubt seen many of the campaign ads as politicians work to try and convince voters who's more conservative. The flip side of that coin means Democrats are also campaigning hard in the Missouri 4th, which now cuts into Kansas City. 7 candidates want a shot at unseating incumbent Congressman Mark Alford in November. He even has competition within his own party with 2 Republican challengers Tuesday. And then there's the Missouri 6th, which also has new constituents, but has this added layer of an open seat with Congressman Sam Graves retiring. We've seen contentious back and forth between a few of the 5 Republican candidates in the running. 3 Democrats are also competing for a spot in the general election in November. So there is a lot to discuss, suffice it to say, and that's not even counting the races in Kansas we're going to get to in a moment. Let's talk about this with our roundtable journalist, Brian Ellison, senior news analyst for KCUR, and KMBC9 political reporter Michael Mahoney. All right, gentlemen, let's start with this shakeup around Kansas City's congressional districts. What's catching your eye in the 5th?
I think the 5th district, I'm most astonished by the level of outside money coming in compared to the money that's actually being raised in the district. Something like $2.8 million through last week of outside money being poured into that Republican primary, 5 times the amount that all of the candidates combined have raised on their own in the district. Most of that, of course, in fact, almost all of it focused on Taylor Burks versus Rick Bratton, 2 candidates who probably were not that well known outside their immediate areas, but now are trying to establish more of a statewide profile, and it has to be because of how far this district extends.
Sure. Yeah, and I'm not surprised because the Republicans are treating this as their best opportunity in generations at winning the Missouri 5th district, which has traditionally been a Democratic district based in Kansas City, and the new district no longer is like that. So the Republicans are treating this like an open seat or a flippable seat at the very best on this. So I'm not surprised to see the amount of money that's coming into this campaign in the primary, and then they'll be doubling down and more outside money and more campaign money from the candidates in the fall.
You know, we've seen candidates in other races rely on a Trump endorsement. Do you think we're going to see one here in the 5th?
No, I don't, but it wouldn't surprise me if it happens because the pattern for Donald Trump in a lot of these races has been to wait late and try to jump on what he believes to be or perceives to be the favorite, the likely winning candidate.
Right. In this case, he will have waited to be very late, of limited use to the candidates, I think. I think the general impression, at least in my observation, is that Rick Bratton has done more to sort of wrap himself in the glow of Trump's support, and it would be more surprising if Taylor Burks gets that nomination, that support from the president. That might be a boost to his campaign in the last few days.
I agree with you.
You know, Republican race in the 6th, too, has gotten very heated. On top of that, as we said, you have a race for a fresh face on Capitol Hill. What are we watching here?
Well, I think in the 6th district, which now spreads across all of northern Missouri, the top third of the state, more or less, including a third of the population of Kansas City. All of Clay and Platte County are now in that district. Most of the attention has been focused on a head-to-head battle between talk show host Chris Stigall and Kansas City Council member Nathan Willett. It's become an increasingly nasty battle. Nathan Willett does not have the support of the conservative Trump world, which he expected to have when he entered that race. I think we're going to see it come down to the wire, but it sure sounds like Willett is the one who's punching up Astegall at this point.
Yeah, the important thing, a couple of the important things to remember about this race is because this touches the Kansas City Northland, that is a huge block of votes, and those people are familiar with Nathan Willett as being a member of the city council. Chris Stegall is also not an unknown because he's been on the radio down here. It's been interesting that while Stegall has campaigned and suggested heavily that he has the Trump endorsement, he does not have an official endorsement from Donald Trump. But I believe that a lot of folks think that the edge right now goes to Stegall. He's known in the district. He's got the Jeff Rowe political machine and operation behind him. Jeff Rowe's started his political career as a consultant in northern Missouri with Sam Graves. So Stegall with a slight edge going in.
Let's move to Kansas now. The U.S. Senate primaries are really picking up steam with 11 Democratic candidates on the ballot hoping to unseat Roger Marshall in November, including several political newcomers. What's worthy of note here?
Well, I think that is part of what's worthy, and it says something about the state of the Democratic Party in Kansas, that really the newcomers are pretty much the only option. The most experienced, I think, elected official in the race is Patrick Schmidt, the first-term state senator. But you do have some political appointees, people who served in the Obama administration, like Christy Davis. Noah Taylor is the former the Army veteran. But I think Adam Hamilton, of course, has gotten most of the attention and, of course, had that tremendous fundraising experience in his first 2 months of more than $3.5 million. What stands out to me is that that says something about what people think it will take to beat Roger Marshall, and that is someone who's outside and not embedded in the political community.
Yeah, the other thing about this is in the not too distant past, Democrats have struggled to have any candidate run for the United States Senate. And Greg Orman a few years ago didn't even run as a Democrat, he ran as an independent. And I think Mr. Hamilton's good fundraising and high profile is going to serve him well in this.
All right, we'll leave it there for